Glam's new video. I will be drawing Anubis. There's not that many good reference pictures that are either simple enough for me to want to draw it, or they're too complicated, and I'm just like, well, I don't really want to spend too much time drawing this character. So I picked one, and I'm gonna make up the rest. To be fair, it is a very simple thing. Also, my headphones were plugged in all night. Why did they immediately say that they were dead? That's not fair. I'm gonna see if it's only one of them that's dead. Oh. Oh. Both my headphones are dead. No! I'm gonna continue drawing. It's okay. I'm just like a little bit peeved that my headphones are dead. Like, I'll still draw it, but like, I'm just sad. Something I realized is I didn't grab a red. To be fair, I don't have that many nice reds, so. a great reference of, if you want me to draw, like, for a tattoo for you, I guess I can do it. Because I can draw literally anywhere from the internet. And my best friend's really good at tattoos. Now, she actually does do tattoos. She did my tattoo. She still needs to go over it again, because anything that is small for tattoos, you need to go over multiple times to get all the details crisp, because fading happens on very thin tattoos. That face is a little wide. Bring it in a little bit, you know? I would make his ears taller, but I want them to fit on the paper, so they're only going to the top of the page. Oh, his hat kind of blocks off some of his ears. His face. Something I know is I can actually spend as long as I want on creative pieces, like my mythical characters, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what they look like, because they're myths. Myths are up to your interpretation of the character. Which is why I kind of like drawing myths. Like mythical creatures and stuff, and characters. And like the fictional diseases saga is like one of my favorites that I've done and started. I'm having like a blast. I really do enjoy drawing. Which is something not a lot of people get to like know or see that I enjoy it, because usually you're just seeing small little snippets of my drawings. And not a lot of people like to watch my long version content. And I'd love it if more people would watch my longer version of content and just chill with me and watch how long it actually takes me to complete a piece like this, as it does actually take quite a bit. I've always been fascinated, though, was with gods of death, as they're not evil creatures. They are inherently kind in all forms of, like, mythos. Usually gods of death are quite, like, sparing and polite. I mean, especially compared to, like, other gods. Because, some of them are just, like, gross. Like, the gods of death are just like, yeah, life happens. And so does death. And I quite like that. The idea that, like, death doesn't want you to die, but they know it needs to happen. And that once it does, you'll be fine. And you'll honestly probably be better off than if you were alive in the first place. I guess the only exception where life is better than death is if you're rich. Because that means you can experience all that life has to offer instead of struggle to survive. Because when you don't have a lot, and when a lot of things are taken away from you, you can't really experience life as much as you'd like. And some people might think, oh, that's fucking depressing. Why would you say that? And I'm just like, 'cause it's true. That's where most of my beliefs come from. Truth. So right here, instead of putting what is in the picture, I'm going to put something else. Creativity is what this is. I think it looks like this. It does. Huh. Though in most depictions, they make the bottom slightly out more. And they make this more of a V shape at the end. Which is okay. I mean, I get it. It's a bit more like dimension to it. I love how my ability to make something look evil is not there, but to make it look sad is... Because this does not look like an evil dog, no, it looks like a sad one. Like, oh. But then again, I also don't see the god of death as evil, so... I guess that is interpreted in my art. I don't see them as evil, and I never have. It looks great. I'm so glad I chose these two colors for the gold. Anyway, I'm gonna add line art around each individual section because I can. I think the more fun part is that most of this is just line art. Sketches always look 100 times better than when I fully draw them and like color them in. Something I don't understand is a kitchen putting in half the effort for like employees' food rather than making it the same quality as the rest of the people who work there's food. Because I worked in a kitchen and I always was equal rights, equal fights, you know? So I'd always make all the food the exact same way, no matter who ordered it. Never looked at the tickets, except like the type of food it was. I'm a very big rule follower. Not just just like society rules, but like my own rules. Yes, I do make rules for myself. They're how I'm morally sound. If I did not follow my rules, y'all would know. And y'all would suffer the consequences of giving me free will, and the choice to not agree with my own rules. I give myself rules for others' safety. I need to wear a glove when I'm drawing with certain materials. See, the thing is, I did have an artist glove. I don't know where it went. But I used to wear it often enough to where it would protect my drawings. And now I'm kind of annoyed that I stopped finding it and wearing it when I needed to. It just makes so much sense to wear gloves while drawing. Yes, I'm wearing my Your glove. It'll protect my side hand, which is what really matters.
Listen
If you think this is looking cool, good for you. Don't you know? person question why I was the way I was, and I'm like, 'cause I am. I don't know. So why would you say something like that? Maybe because I don't have a concept of what's socially acceptable. Have you ever thought of that? Also, the concept that a person can be too pretty to be autistic is baffling to me. There's no such thing as too pretty to be anything. You can be beautiful and have mental illness. That does not stop you. You can't be too pretty to be disabled. Baffling concept to me. The reason I'm using autism in my main example is because I think it's Autism Awareness Month. The thing is, I talk about autism a lot because I'm a little different. I don't know if I'm autistic or not. Can't say I am until I have like an actual diagnosis from a real therapist. But I definitely don't act normal. And every single time they talk about how certain things are common autistic traits, I relate, so definitely have something wrong with me. It's probably autism. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You know, the fact that on camera this looks so fucking cool, I'm kind of proud of it. Though the whole thing needs a gray wash entirely so that the highlights pop a bit more, but you know what, I don't care that much. I'm also planning to make all of this just black because I don't want to draw details like that small. I don't mind drawing this piece though. This piece is cool. I already spent an hour drawing. Clearly I'm having a blast, you know? was explaining why I think addiction is a choice. And the way I explain it is, it's not a subconscious choice, it's an unconscious choice. Consciously, nobody wants to be addicted to something. Nobody wants to believe they're addicted to something. Which is why a lot of people usually stay addicted until they reach a point where they realize. Not all of them realize without someone saying, hey, I think you're addicted to that. But some people do realize that they're addicted to something and they keep doing it anyway. Those people I pity a little less. Because if you know you're addicted to something, you try to seek rehab at one point. But keeping going is the hard part, honestly. Which is why I also include the unconscious choice. Like, it's not really your fault that you're addicted to something. You can't really blame a person for getting addicted. It's a drug. Drugs are meant to be addicting. They're meant to make you feel good or feel less. And feeling is hard. So once you feel too much, it's just like, I don't want to feel that anymore. So I understand why people in my family have become addicted to drugs. But I do judge them a little bit. Not because of the addiction itself, but because I pity them. Like, what did you go through that was so bad that it made you want to forget everything? Like, who you are as a person. Who you are now. But the only thing we can really offer to a person who is addicted is emotional support. That's it. And if they ever ask for money, you have to say no, because you don't want them to have the ability to buy more. You can't trust that they're going to buy food with something that you give them. So then you also pity the fact that you can't help them live normally or support them in any way, because the addiction is there still. Even like years later, the addiction is still gonna like affect them slightly. My brother used to do a lot more than he does now. Now he only does recreational, like drugs, to make it so he can like feel hungry, but he definitely has stomach cysts because of the drugs he used to take when he was younger. He didn't need to take them, but he liked the money that came with them. The only reason he really originally started taking drugs was to make sure the drugs he was selling weren't going to kill his friends. Which is horrifying. Horrifying thought. He was taking a risk, buying from shady people, and taking shady drinks. Not testing them, no. He was not using like a drug test to make sure it wasn't laced with anything. He was actually taking them to check to see if they were safe for his friends. And as a consequence of him being a good friend, making sure the drugs were safe for his friends, he poisoned himself, basically. He's still alive, and I thank God every day. A lot of people question, hey, which God do you think? And I'm like, I think a lot of them. Whatever one will want to listen to me. whatever one wants to accept my thanks for not letting my brother get killed. Because, without my brother, I wouldn't have a lot done. Without my sister-in-law, I wouldn't be as secure as I am today. And I truly care about them. And I truly care about a lot of the people that I am friends with and surround myself with. Well, that's unfortunate. It's smudged. I don't care that much. Yeah, do I turn my artwork upside down to draw better? Yeah. Do I switch hands sometimes to draw? Yes. Is there a reason behind it? Usually it's because my hand hurts that I switch hands. That's actually the truth. noticed is, some people get really offended when you comment on how they eat, and then some people do not care at all. I personally, I know I eat a lot, and I kind of like to brag about it. But I haven't been eating as much as I usually have when I was younger. And it's not because my metabolism slowed down. I still have a fast enough metabolism to eat enough. It's just more of I don't have the time to eat as much as I'd like. But I also don't have the food I actually want to eat as easily. Because I don't like going out. Some people eat based off of what their partner eats. And I find that a little weird. Because, like, don't you have your own cravings? My sister-in-law, I remember I made a comment about how she makes different food for herself and for her, like, kid and her boyfriend. And a lot of people were like, but, like, why? And I'm like, because all of them are craving different food. Everyone eats differently. I mean, if you had the choice to eat something you wanted versus what you were given, wouldn't you choose what you wanted? Not everyone wants the same thing. And I thought of it like that, but everyone else was like, no, that's weird. Like, why would they do that? And I'm like, it's because it's not that hard to make slight adjustments to what you're making so that everyone's getting exactly what they were craving. Like, my friend doesn't always want to eat a steak sandwich, but my brother loves those. It's just how it works. Though if a person made breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you every single day, wouldn't you show them that you, like, appreciated it? So that's why I'm kind of, like, upset with my brother. Like, show her you appreciate it, you know? And my friend immediately knows whenever I tell my brother something, when it comes to being nice to her and stuff. Because whenever I give my brother advice and he actually does it, she can immediately tell that I gave him an advice. And I'm like, oof. Like, I'm trying to help my brother out by giving him some brownie points. I do that with men all the time. I try to, like, help them out, teach them how to, like, get brownie points with their spouse. And then their spouse can tell after a while that someone's been giving them pointers. There is no checklist of how to treat a woman. There is no right or wrong way. But sometimes people lack luster, you know, and they forget. Oh yeah, they're a person who has interests and wants, and they want to feel appreciated. I also feel bad when the men don't get appreciated, like, but my brother doesn't really do much to deserve the appreciation that she does for him, because my brother has to be asked to do a chore in order to do it, rather than me just realizing, hey, this needs to get done. Like, how do you not realize that it's a chore that needs... How do you not realize? It clearly needs to get done, regardless. Anyway. I just wish my brother did a bit more. Without fucking it up, too. 'Cause, like... It is clear that if you're going to fill a dishwasher, you fill it all the way before you run it. Otherwise, it's just a waste of soap. thing I realized though is if I make my drawing videos long enough, they take up more space. So I can make multiple videos out of them. Because I don't like posting longer than an hour-long video. Because I don't believe people would watch longer than an hour if I did post longer than an hour. I know some people will, but I don't think most people would. I mean, most of my videos nobody likes to watch. Like, except maybe like 7 people at most. I mean, like, my watch hours are still going up, so that's like a good thing, but I'd like more than 7 people to watch my videos. I know my educational videos, they tend to do a lot better than when I'm just filming, like, drawing and stuff. I know I'm not always the most entertaining person. I'm trying to get better at being entertaining without being bored of myself. I wish I knew more about the gods of death to like give you like informational facts about them, but I don't know enough to fill up a whole like hour segment about the same shit that I've learned about multiple times. I like learning about gods of death as they are the most interesting gods, and I find them to be the most peaceful of them all. Though when people assume I don't know anything at all about things that I've studied profusely and told me I'm an insult to their culture for even assuming this was actually how they're supposed to look like, it's like, no, it's not. It's not the original version either. It's not supposed to be. Why would you assume it would be? I don't do the original version of anything. Like, and I don't try to mimic things exactly either. I mean, some of my costumes are pretty similar to exactly what the character's supposed to look like. But that's because I bought them, not because of any other reason. And yes, I do buy costumes. Wanna know why? Because making them are a pain in the ass. Did I take my measurements? Yes, because my friend is making me a costume. I'm not making it myself. What a silly idea. I personally won't make myself a costume because I do not like making costumes. That is not my thing. I've made myself a pair of shorts before. I hated the whole process though. And I personally do not want to do that again. And I still haven't even like finished them fully technically. I need to fix the weight and add a waistband. Because they don't fit over my ass properly. I kind of want to add like a red scarab gem in the center, but I'm not going to. I'm just filling it in at this point because I'm just like done with doing details because this is meant to be like brought down here. I don't want to do that. I'm just filling in the space at this rate to make it look like it has shape but not be exactly the same as my reference. I would have copied the reference entirely, but I kind of like that I added this detail instead of following the design that I was drawing. A lot of the images that came up, though, when looking at this character were of tattoos, and, well, that makes sense. I will say most of the tattoos I plan on getting have mental illnesses behind them and trauma behind them. I mean, a tattoo in general screams, I have trauma, but as a person who doesn't feel as much as the average person, yes, I do in fact. Enjoy. Okay. I think I'm done. Peace, love. Have a good night, my fab fans. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!